I was looking at this picture on the last day of the month, right, the December. You can
Mm.
see the menu for the Queen Vic, right? And obviously, with it being Baby Ben, this was probably about like
Yeah.
2010, something like that, if not earlier,
Something like that.
right?
Yeah, yeah. It was something
Look at
like
this,
that.
right? Cod, chips, and peas, £4.90. Isn't it? Four
What?
pound
You pay about
ninety.
£8 just for a
I
piece of
know.
cod
In London as
these
well,
days?
£4.90. What was it in normal
Wow.
places at that time? At that time, if it was four
I
pound
don't
ninety
know,
in a pub in
actually.
London,
Wow, that's crazy.
steak and ale pie, £5.
Wow.
Isn't it?
Inflation, eh?
Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 16th to the 20th of December 2024. Look at us, all tinselled up. It's Christmas. Yes. By this time next week, whatever is going to kick off at Christmas. And given this week's events, it looks like it could be a bit of a whopper. Yes, we should be talking about everything in the run up to Christmas very, very shortly. Joining me as usual is Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you?
Hello, Rob. I'm all right. Got a bit of a cold though, so bear
Yeah,
with me
it's that
today. I do
that time of year, isn't
apologise.
it? That time of year. But look at us,
Yes.
all tinselled up. We've got our hats and our headwear on. If you're missing,
I've
you're
got
missing
my,
out.
what are these called? Boppers. I've got a little headband
Yeah,
bopper,
booble
Father
dopper
Christmas
type
bopper.
things. Yeah, they look
Bopper.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we're all tinselled up. If you, I tell you what, if you're
Mm.
listening on audio, you're missing out. Come on YouTube and have a look at our
Yeah, get
Christmas
on you. Go
decorations
on www.youtube.com
and have a
and get on
look.
E20 after.
Yes, that's the
Rob loves
one.
it when I say that, don't you? Those web addresses.
www dot
Oh
get on
dear.
that internet. Load up the
Hey,
internet.
when you were doing that intro and you were saying, "Oh, this time next week it'll have been Christmas."
Yeah.
My first thought was, "Well, I was going to say, yeah, we'll know everything about the six."
Well,
No,
no, that's done, love. That's done. That was last year.
it feels like yesterday. All that.
I know,
Where's
can you
this year
believe it?
gone?
I know. 2024, it's done, nearly. Done.
The six is nearly done as well. Not quite, but nearly done.
It feels like we might have revisited this a little bit this week, doesn't it?
Well, yes, but
Yes, it's
why? Actually, I think
mm,
I kind of know why.
yeah, I
But we'll
think it's
get
gonna be
to
more.
that, won't we,
Yes, we'll
Rob?
get to that. We will get to that. But it's been quite a week. First of all, we're going to discuss Monday's episode, which was the Linda sort of what if scenario that has been sort of theorized about so much for the past couple of months since those pictures were leaked slash kind of released. I don't know quite what happened with the pictures, but that all happened this week. And then the Cindy drama looks to be in full throttle going into Christmas. So much to discuss in this week's Albert Square After Dark. So let's start with talking about Monday's episode and the special sort of Linda, what if she died episode, right? Now, like I said, there was a huge amount of build up to this, I thought, because those pictures of a funeral type setting, and we knew from these pictures that we were going to get Nancy and Lee back for an episode or so. And people kind of theorized quite quickly, well, that looks like it would be Linda's funeral. But we know we haven't been heard that Kelly Bright is leaving the show. So is this
Yeah.
some sort of what if scenario, something like that? So people, I
hmm
think, because of those pictures, was sort of a little bit ahead of the game before this started. But then I think also what happened is that they built it up in their heads to be something like that was going to be full of returns and kind of mad what if type scenarios, like we got with
hmm
Fat Boy's random return. I think people were expecting something like that. I saw people like theorizing that I bet Angie comes back for that. Angie comes to see Sharon in ghost
I said
form.
I'd seen that as well. That
Yeah,
theory, yeah,
which
like
and then tells them what happens when an alcoholic dies or something like that,
yeah.
But I think people at the very least were expecting at least a Mick return or something like that, some like
Yeah, I
Mick comes
saw a
to
lot
see
of
her.
people
Yeah,
saying Mick, or I saw people saying they were expecting a voiceover at least from Danny
yeah,
Dyer, something like
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. So what did you think to it? What did you think to Monday's
Well,
episode?
I
Let's
enjoyed
break it
it.
down.
Break it down. Well, I did enjoy it. Twitter absolutely adored it from what I saw, right? Twitter was all over it. Okay.
hmm
Um, I thought when I was watching it, I thought by the end of it, I was like, this could have been longer. I thought it was a little bit too short. Now, that's not necessarily the show's fault because I wonder how many times they go to because they've got to sort of sort that out with the schedulers, haven't they? If they want to do like a big long episode.
True.
So I wonder how
hmm
many times they've gone to the BBC schedulers and
Yeah.
gone, can we have an hour special for this, please? And they turn around and go, absolutely not. So
And you
Because
can't really do it as two parts across two
no,
episodes
because it
because
would
it
because
just wouldn't have
then no,
worked,
it
would
wouldn't have
it? And
worked,
then
would it?
people would have thought it was actually real, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. I did
So
think of that actually, that maybe that's why it wasn't a longer episode. Yeah, you might have a
yeah,
point.
so I sort of thought, well, it maybe could have been could would have benefited from being a little bit longer because I
Hmm.
quite happily would have cut that bit where she was groped by the guy because I don't think it necessarily added to what the point of the episode was and sort of
Yeah.
lingered a bit more on the what would have happened to the rest of Linda's family, what effect would her death have
Mm.
had, and given more to that
Yeah.
side of things rather than
Yeah.
I know that they needed to sort of. Cause do you think that they were trying to build it up as like temporarily trying to make us think that Linda had actually died? And we were just because we knew what was going to happen, we were sort of ahead of the game on that.
Yes and no though, because I think we kind of knew that she'd not because they wouldn't have done a funeral in the same episode that she's died. Within like
Mm.
5 minutes
Yeah,
of her dying, they were having a funeral.
yeah,
So I'd be surprised if anyone thought that it was actually real and happening like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
because then, yeah.
we had all those sorts of like shots of like lights going out and stuff. And 9 times out of 10, the electricity is only ever affected in Albert Square when something like this is about to happen. When we're about to go into the world
Yeah.
of fantasy, the lights start flickering around, and
Yes.
then we're into God
So
knows what.
so before we got to the like towards the ending where where we went back to that moment. So obviously it starts with Linda having the argument with Elaine, walking out of the Vic, looking at the bottle of vodka and
Yeah,
trying to decide, do I drink it or do I not?
yeah,
Lights flicker, she drinks it. Did
yeah.
you know then this is where it started?
I
Did
kind of
you
figured.
actually? Because I
Yeah, I kind of
didn't.
figured. I kind of just thought that's a nice effect, but why did you do that then? Because it's
Oh,
not really got
see,
anything to do with. It's not like she's drinking and therefore she's forgotten to pay the electricity bill. It's
God,
like
and you
she's.
accuse me of over analysing, Rob.
I was
I
right
didn't
though.
even think. No, you were, but I didn't think anything of it. So then when we saw the whole funeral thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought that came from when she was on the bench, when she was like coughing the
Oh
blood
right,
up.
okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought
That
that
was
was the
graphic, wasn't it?
moment. So I thought everything before that was real.
Mm.
Then that was going to be where she had her epiphany of, oh, I'm coughing up blood. I probably need to stop
Yeah,
drinking.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
expect us to go all the way back to her staring at the bottle of vodka. So I thought that was quite clever.
But yeah, it was clever. But this is what I mean when I say I personally would have preferred. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was a great
Yeah.
idea. All right, I really
Hmm.
like this era has been really, really good at when they do go in this direction and sort of take things a little, do something a
A
little
bit
bit different with an episode,
abstract,
a little
let's
bit
say. Yeah.
abstract, go a little bit differently. What this
Mm.
era is actually really good at doing is sort of keeping it very rooted within the show. Where
Yeah.
we've had
Making
previous
it
eras when
work.
yeah, we've had previous episodes from different eras that have gone a little bit kind of
Not
crazy and it's
mentioning
just
any
felt
names, are
no,
we?
of
Yeah,
course
yeah,
not, but it could have come from any show, do you know what I mean? But this
yeah.
felt very
Yeah,
rooted in EastEnders, so I did enjoy it. But I thought that when she was imagining her going down to that that sort of under the bridge and then sort of
yeah. Mm.
cuddling up to the drunk guy she met last, Glenn I think his name was, wasn't it, and like
Yeah.
getting groped by him, I was sort of like I don't I would have cut I would have lost that happily in favor of more scenes of Lee and Nancy and Johnny and Elaine sort of dealing with the aftermath of her death.
And I know what you're saying. So you basically wanted more of the characters that we
Yeah,
know. But I think
yeah,
Linda having that moment was quite important though as well for her
okay,
to go. This could happen as well. Do I really want to go through all that again?
yeah.
Because remember the other night she didn't remember before this episode she'd gone off with a man. I assume it was
Mm.
this Glenn
I think
again.
it's the same bloke. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, there was that one, and then she'd said, "Oh, I don't know. There was a nice man. I
a very
went with
nice man.
him."
Yeah, do you reckon that was the same? Was that the same
That's
bloke?
what I'm
I don't.
wondering.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wondering. I don't know. It might
I
not
don't
have
know.
been.
I don't know.
But exactly, we don't know, and Linda doesn't know.
Dylan
So
doesn't
I
know.
think
That's
it
the
was
point. Yeah,
important that she had that realization of, I'm getting drunk and putting myself in a very vulnerable
yeah,
position here. So
yeah,
I think that it was important to have that bit in personally. But I know what you're saying, that you would have swapped it for more like
yeah.
Lee and Nancy stuff,
Yeah, absolutely.
essentially, and
Yeah,
Elaine
yeah. I
get
also
out.
thought it was a bit odd that George wasn't in the episode at all.
Yeah, I know. There were a lot of people that was like the funeral
Well,
should have been more busy, but I
see
also
now
understand why
I
not.
understand
I
I
know what you're
understood
gonna
yeah,
say. Yeah, I
because
know what you're gonna say.
that's signifying Linda's self-worth at that moment, isn't it? That's why the funeral was empty. She's imagining what her funeral will look like if she carries on like this, and she'll figure that
Yes, because
everyone
she'll
will have
have
turned their
burned all
back
the
on her.
bridges with everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she'll think that
yeah,
only her family will bother showing up,
yeah.
and even the ones that show up will have a massive fight because of
Hmm.
her. So I got that. That was fine. But I just thought it was really weird that George wasn't in the episode at all. And because of the fact that it was a figment of Linda's imagination, they couldn't put in any explanations as to why, like they'd normally say, oh,
Yeah.
George has gone to visit somebody or something like that. There's no point in putting that in an episode like this. So
No.
it just felt like he was just absent from the episode. Unless, of course, that Linda was imagining the fact that George would have just left Elaine by that point and buggered off.
Possibly.
The girls would have
Possibly.
stayed. The girls would have stayed in the Vic, but George will have pissed off with Cindy somewhere.
Oh,
Maybe.
yeah.
It just felt a little bit odd. And
I know what you mean.
I also absolutely love the fact that Linda imagines by the time her funeral come around that Sharon will be short-sighted, and where the campus glasses, well,
they were very Anastasia,
weren't they? Yeah,
2000s-esque, those
just
glasses. They really suited her.
They did, but there was just the way she just
was,
camply placed them on the end of her nose just before she gave her eulogy. Loved that. I thought that was a nice touch. Sharon, next time that Sharon and Linda actually see each other, she must turn around to her and go, "Do you know what? By the way, glasses would suit you. Wear glasses more. You should." I know we've seen
specifically these ones.
Yeah, I think we have seen Sharon in glasses before, but not those sort of fabulous sort of Anastasia ones that goes on the end of her nose.
They just so reminded me of Anastasia straight away. Like, I'm out of love. That's straight away.
Great. It's great, wasn't it? So she basically imagines that her family will fall apart. She imagines that Nancy will decide. Well, Nancy will whack Elaine one at the funeral. And well, we saw pictures of that, didn't we? And we sort of kind of like that was in one of the pictures that we saw Nancy whacking Elaine. And I kind of thought I can imagine why Nancy would do that, because Nancy's the sort that would blame somebody.
And see, that particular picture made me think that they were fake pictures and they were just trying to like draw our attention away from something else that was going on.
The anniversary, maybe. Yeah.
But clearly.
One thing though, and don't get me wrong, I thought Charlie Suff, who plays Johnny, was very, very good throughout all of this sort of thing.
Yes.
But what I would say is, do you remember when he first came into the role and we said, God, you could give this Johnny's dialogue to Lee quite comfortably and it wouldn't feel wrong, if it wouldn't feel out of place whatsoever. Now we've actually seen Lee and this Johnny on screen together. It's like they've literally swapped personalities, because Lee, I thought, was quite timid. Lee was quite timid and supportive and trying to keep everybody happy, whereas Johnny was all sort of like getting drunk.
I know what you mean, but actually I kind of get it, because Johnny's been living it with Linda, so he's going to be feeling the angst a bit more with it all.
Yeah.
And Lee's the eldest, so I think he was just taking on in this.
He's chilled out his old age, as he is.
I mean, it's hard to even talk about though as well, because none of it's real. But like in this scenario, he was taking on the role of being the eldest brother and trying to support his siblings in the right. I mean, all of them as well. Like we had Annie and Oscar as Annie and Ollie. Sorry, I always want to call him Oscar. No. Annie and Ollie.
Yeah, and talking of Ollie, I don't think that I was meant to find his picture really, really, really funny.
I know.
I really did. Absolutely pissed.
It was funny.
I absolutely pissed myself.
Yeah, they didn't get the desired effect.
Well, I don't know. I know. I just laughed at it. I thought it was really funny. Just the fact that she imagines his picture of a mummy is just lying in a park, just like clutching a bottle of alcohol, holding it up in the air, like just like the alcohol falling into her mouth. Love that. I have to say, Ollie's a better drawer than I am. Yeah, I can't draw. He's such a good drawer. I know. I want to know what happens in those sorts of scenarios behind the scenes. Like, I need someone to draw me a picture. It needs to have come from Ollie, and this is what it needs to be of. Like, do they get one of the adult prop people to do that, or does a kid do that?
Or I was thinking, what's that show that you House of Games?
Oh yes.
And they do the child round, and they always get like the producer's kids to like make up questions. I always wonder if they get like a producer's kid to draw a picture for him or something when it comes to something like that. That's what I'm wondering.
Maybe. I'd love to know what happens in those sorts of scenarios. And so the funeral doesn't really go well. Johnny has a massive go at everybody. Nancy and Elaine fall out, and by the end of the imagined funeral, Nancy has decided the kids are coming with me. Me and Lee will look after the kids, and Elaine is basically just left daughterless. Johnny kind of stays behind. The family is basically utterly destroyed, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she and then the lights go out again to sort of signify the end of the imaginary section, and then we're back into real world, and Linda is stood there holding this bottle of vodka that she was about to down, kind of pours it away, goes into the Vic and says to Elaine, yeah, I'll go to rehab. I'm sorry. Like, she's only been out there for about 30 seconds. Elaine's got whiplash going, what you were yelling at me a second ago? What are you on about? Hang on, what's going on here? And then Linda basically says, don't want to die. I'll go to rehab.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the
Done.
episode.
And that's
And then
that.
that's
And
and
that
that's
is
Linda
that.
done now, I think, for a couple of
Yeah.
months, actually. I don't think we're going to see Linda now for a few months.
And I think fair enough. I think Kelly
Oh,
Bright could do
Kelly
with a
Bright has
break.
earned a break,
She
right?
deserves it.
I mean, Linda deserves a somewhat peaceful Christmas, even if she's going to be in rehab during Christmas. She
Yeah.
deserves it because the poor woman, right? The Christmases that she's had over the past few years. I mean, 2 years ago she lost Mick over the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
Well, no, she went over the side of a cliff and then her husband followed and got lost in the sea. Last year she drowned Keanu. Bless her. She deserves to be in a kind of darkened room and just have a little bit of a, off her face on some drug that they give you to chill out with for addiction issues. Like that, she can just chill
Do
out
they
and have
give
a
you
lovely time.
well, do they give you a drug?
Methadone?
Like, do they?
I don't know for alcoholism. I
No,
would assume that.
methadone's for like heroin and morphine, isn't
Oh, do
it?
they
As
not
I
give you
found out
anything? Do they
later.
not give you anything for booze?
I'm not sure. I'm
They
actually
should.
not sure.
Don't know.
I mean, no, I don't know.
I don't
But
know
then again,
because
like when you quit smoking, you have nicotine
yeah.
patches, don't
So
you?
presumably they must give you something to sort of take the edge off. Not, but it's not actually alcohol. I don't know. Is the
I'm
honest
not
answer. If
sure
you
that they
know,
do,
let us know in
but
the comment section. I'd love
maybe
to
they
know that.
replace it with mindfulness, Rob.
Mindfulness, yes, and
Yes.
alcohol-free gin. Yeah, that could work,
Yes.
couldn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Placebo effect. So yeah, I did enjoy it. I just thought that it could have been a bit longer, but I
But
have a
I
feeling that's
don't
not
think
necessarily their fault.
I was going to say as well, that is never a negative, wishing that
No,
something was longer,
no, absolutely not.
because you should always leave people wanting more. So actually, the fact that you wished it was longer means that it worked and that it was
Mm.
good. Because if it was rubbish, you would have been saying you shouldn't have done it
Like,
at
I
all.
wish it
But
had
the
been
fact
5 minutes
we
long.
wanted more, well,
Yeah.
yeah, but the fact we want more shows how good it was and that it worked, because I was skeptical. And actually, I think it really worked as well. So well done.
I thought it was a really, really strong idea that made sense in that
Yes.
moment. It was an
Yes.
interesting way of doing it. I did think.
Mhm.
And it was just, and obviously great to see Nancy and Lee again. And Lee we've not seen for ages, so it's really nice to see
No.
Lee again.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Nancy and Lee back full time, especially now we've got Johnny back full time. Like, bring
They
him back,
worked
go on.
really well with Johnny stuff because they
Yeah, didn't
never
they?
obviously shared scenes together. And actually, I
Yeah,
like these are all siblings. It was really
yeah,
believable.
yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'd like to explore more of that dynamic on screen. So
Hmm.
hopefully we'll get to see them again soon. So how long do you think we've got Linda away for? Because apparently I had a look. Apparently rehab can take like about 90 days, if not more. So
So at least 3 months.
yeah. So she
Yeah, that
might,
sounds about
if
right.
we're lucky, we
Let
might
all
get her back
this
for the
Cindy
anniversary.
drama happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe the anniversary. Yeah, that would.
This explains why Linda is not in the promo picture for the
Yeah,
Christmas
for
Madness
Christmas Day. Yeah.
or in the trailer. So that's
Mm,
Linda sort of out of the way so that the Knights can have their drama without us constantly saying, "Where's Linda? Why is Linda not involved in this?" So that's
yeah.
that
Yeah.
sorted. So yeah, good stuff, interesting stuff, and enjoy your break, Kelly Bright, because my God, you've earned it, girl.
Very well
Absolutely
deserved.
earned it. Yeah, fair play. Right, ladies and gents, next story. So, contrary to what we kind of were discussing last week, it turns out you were right. Okay, I clearly missed a big detail out of the Ruby and Martin storyline last
Sorry,
week,
what?
right?
Sorry, what?
Yes, you were right.
Ree's
Okay.
always right. So no, sorry. I'm not gonna milk it. I'm not gonna milk it. It's all right.
I'm
Go on. Go
not
on.
going to milk it.
Sorry.
Not going
I
to
didn't
milk
mean to
it.
interrupt
Not going to
you.
milk this whatsoever. Not going to milk it. Um, no. So it turns out that they
Yes.
did have like a spare donor, basically, that they was
Yeah.
going to sort of test. I don't know how I missed that last week, but I did. So they had a spare donor that they were going to be testing to sort of see compatibility for Roman's kidney, isn't it? It's kidney. Yeah, it's kidney.
Liver.
Liver,
Rob, it's
liver.
liver.
I'd
You
be a
kept doing
rubbish
this
cannibal.
before.
I know.
We had to do about 5 takes last week because you kept saying his kidney.
Liver.
Liver.
Roman's liver.
Yes.
For this liver transplant. The donor that they had isn't going to work, so it has to be Martin. I mean, arguably, I would say they could have just gone straight to Martin.
Not bothered with the guy.
I
Yeah.
thought they had. But either way, Martin now has to have this operation,
Yes.
and this sort of kind of put Stacey on edge because Stacey and Martin are goals. Let's be fair here. Of all the relationships on the square, I could aim towards wanting to be in a relationship like Stacey and Martin are. That would be nice. They're quite.
They're not in one though.
They're not yet, but they will be soon. I would argue. Of course, they will.
I,
Yes. Well,
I don't
not
think so,
yet.
but I know. Yeah.
Not yet, because now Ruby's on the scene and Martin's all
This is what I mean.
confused.
And Lacey Turner's leaving for
And Lacey
maternity.
Turner's going on maternity leave, so maybe not yet, but
Lest we
eventually,
forget.
lest we forget. But yeah, so I mean, understandably, Martin's a bit like, I'm about to have a massive operation. Shit, that's quite scary. So he's all sort of like, what do you call it? All our shop. He's all over the shop, isn't he?
All out shop. He's all out
Yes,
shop,
he's
definitely.
all our shop. And he and Stacey have this conversation where they sort of trying to put Martin's mind at rest. And
Hmm.
Martin realizes basically Stacey always makes him feel better, and Stacey's always there whenever anything like this is going on. She's always a source of comfort. So why don't I just lean in and kiss her right now? And Stacey's like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, there, sunshine. What do you think you're doing?" And Martin sort of runs out. It's all a bit awkward and horrible, and Stacey feels like really bad about that, and then
Hmm.
spends the rest of the week sort of pining over Martin, wishing that she'd kissed him back. Really, doesn't she?
Yeah. I mean, this has come a bit out of nowhere, I must
Oh,
be
do you think?
honest. A little bit, yeah. They've always just got on, but then I guess, he's about to undergo surgery, so it makes you rethink everything and reevaluate life. And maybe I guess you could say with Ruby coming back, she's like, hang on, no, 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 no.
Mm,
I want Martin actually. You
yeah,
can you can
yeah. You
nanas,
can
Ruby.
nanas. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's come out of nowhere because they were sort of kind of testing the waters of getting back into a relationship a few months back, weren't they? And then that sort of faded away after throughout the whole
Mm.
Theo storyline, didn't it?
Oh
Um,
yeah, I forgot
yeah.
about all that actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Theo.
fair,
This time,
okay.
this time last year, actually no, by this time last year, Theo was gone anyway, wasn't he? He got arrested and taken
Yeah.
away. And she was shagging Jack. Do you remember? That was happening
Oh
this
God,
time last
yeah,
year.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. She's moved on from that.
Yeah.
So Martin goes into hospital and has the operation. Seems to have all gone well. Yes, Roman's going to be fine. It would kind of transpire. I'm assuming Roman's just going to be absolutely fine from here on in. Martin's sort of conscious and sort of fine. And Ruby's getting a bit tactile. I would say, like sort of holding his
Mm.
hands. Like is
Lots of
Ruby
hand
starting
touching.
lots of hand touching. Is Ruby starting to feel the old feelings resurfacing?
Yes, potentially. I think she's just very grateful to
I mean, you
Martin.
would
She
be,
has
wouldn't you? You would
saved,
be.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's saved her son's life.
Or say
And
both
she
their
was
sons'
saying
life.
how, like, he's our child now
Yeah.
rather than
Now.
I don't know though. Something for me now, all of a sudden, I think Ruby's trying to get back at Stacey.
Oh, do
I've
you
now got
think?
it in my head that it's all fake with Stacey. And when I watched the episodes the other week when they were talking, I fully believed it. But then I'm thinking, like, she did go to prison for something she didn't do. Would she just come back and make friends with her straight away? I'm
Well,
not so sure.
I don't know. How would being in that situation make you act? So, you've got a kid that's suddenly at death's door. And I mean, does it make you sort of reevaluate your life slightly? Does it make you kind of think there are so bigger things going on in my world right now rather than continuing this somewhat petty feud that me and you had going a couple
Yes.
of years ago?
Okay.
And they
So
were really,
maybe,
really good
yeah.
friends at one
So
point. So,
maybe it was genuine a few weeks ago, but now there's obviously going to be a little triangle.
mm.
So is Ruby going to do everything she can to get Stacey out of the picture so that
I would
her and
imagine so.
Martin and Roman can live happily ever after? And that's how Lacey Turner's going to go on maternity leave because, Ruby's going to maybe send her to prison for something that she didn't do, which is what she tried to
Maybe.
do in the first place,
Yeah, I
didn't
wouldn't
she?
be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it seems to be their
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think.
their thing, sending each other to prison. Yeah, I mean, possibly. I think that there is definitely a Ruby, Martin, Stacey love triangle starting to
Mm.
develop. And seeing as though we know that there is a choice coming for the viewers, is this
Yes,
it?
yes.
But
I
even
did
then,
wonder again.
but
Yeah.
again, we kind of theorized that this might be because we knew Ruby was coming back when this
Mm,
twist was announced, the choice thing, and we kind of theorized, oh, maybe it's going to be Stacey, Martin, and Ruby. But even
mm.
then, when we were first discussing it, I kind of thought there's no way that the audience is going to choose Ruby over Stacey. Surely, like Stacey and Martin are a
Yeah.
really popular couple. Like Ruby wouldn't have a chance with the viewers with that one, surely.
No, that's what I'm thinking. And plus, both scenarios have quite a big impact on storylines
Yeah,
and things going forward in the square. So I don't. Now I can't remember, and I do apologise, but I saw somebody online say they thought it was going to be the Harvey, Jean, Kathy, and I'm convinced it's that now. But then
maybe.
again,
But
we've
then
not seen much of that again recently.
no, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. I mean, for now though, Roman seems to be fine. Ruby and Martin. I mean, do you reckon that Martin's starting to get some of those old feelings back? I got the impression from his chat with Zach that he is starting to sort of. Well, Stacey doesn't want me, so maybe this whole
Yeah,
sort of family unit I could create with Ruby and Roman could be a way forward.
and you would probably bond over everything that's
Something like
happening
this,
with
I reckon
Roman, wouldn't
so.
you?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course you would. Of
yeah.
course you would. So possibly,
Hmm.
possibly. We should have to wait and
Possibly.
see. Ooh.
Hmm.
Right, ladies and gents, before we get to the big storyline of the week, let's discuss Denise. Penultimate story now. Denise. Now, Denise has not had an easy week. She is sort of really, really paranoid. And this is, I think, suggestive of the breakdown that she had and sort of revealing that she's a little bit more sort of triggered towards um like getting panicky about everything than we were being led to believe, I think, with Denise. And Nish being on the run has really sort of put her on edge, obviously, because she was the one that whacked Nish over the head. She's kind of got it into her head that Nish is going to have some sort of personal vendetta against her, whereas in reality, I don't think Nish could give a flying toss about Denise at this point, could he?
That's a very nice way of putting it, Rob. Yes, I don't think he could give a flying toss either, to be honest.
To be
No.
fair, I don't think he
Well,
really cares.
if that was his priority, he wouldn't have gone forward and handed himself in for it in the
No,
first place, would
no,
he? So,
exactly.
no, I
No, he's
agree with
over
you. I think
that.
he's
He's
got bigger
over that.
fish to fry than
Much bigger fish
thinking
to
about
fry.
Denise. Yes.
Exactly. But Denise doesn't really realise that.
No,
And
which is fair enough. You can
it is
kind of
fair enough.
understand her logic, yeah.
Yeah. So when Avani comes to her looking for work, because Avani's getting a bit tired of being under sort of lock and key. The rest of the family
Yeah.
is trying to keep all the kids kind of like as close knit as they possibly can. And Avani's like, I'm done. Stop pouring at me. I need to go out and live my life, man. God. And so goes to Denise and asks for some work. And Denise is like, well, that's a terrible idea. Of course you're hired.
Let's do
So
it.
let's do it. So what happens then later on in the week is Avani, sick of Ravi sort of going on at her all the time, does a video. And what is this video supposed to contain? Like, she basically just says, I'm free, I'm not worried, I'm not scared, leave me alone. You know, I've got nothing to hide or anything like that. Just make some big old sort of freedom plea on TikTok or something, doesn't she? Like, what was this video really supposed to suggest? I'm not
I
quite
thought
sure
it
what
was
she was
just a
going for.
post. I didn't realise it were an actual video. I thought
Yeah,
it was just a post.
she said
Oh.
that it was an actual video that she'd done
Oh.
online, saying, I'm assuming because news of Nish escaping has sort of spread,
Yeah.
presumably around her school is more specific, because I
Yeah.
don't think she could really care less about what people she's never met think of her, but
No.
people in her school, because you don't when you're a teenager, do you? You couldn't give
Yeah.
a toss. And I think what's basically happened is that word of her psycho granddad escaping has kind of made its way around her
Yeah.
school, and so everybody at school thinks she's terrified of her granddad, and so she's getting picked on a little bit for that. So she's now decided, pushed on by the fact that Ravi's doing her head in, to sort of make this video and say that she ain't scared. She's working at a salon, and what? I ain't
I'm
scared.
living my life.
Living my life.
Hate is gonna hate.
Yeah. So as a
Yeah.
consequence to that, two little oiks from her school decide to come into the
Yeah.
salon with masks on and say that Nish has sent us and she's bad news for you. And Denise absolutely freaks out. Avani quite quickly recognises who these two are and sends them on their way. But Denise has an absolute meltdown and kind of kicks
Yeah.
Avani out, sending Ravi to kind of deal with the situation. I cannot begin to tell you how dumb it is that she's told Ravi about what went on from Denise's
Yeah,
standpoint.
it doesn't make sense, does it, why she's told him? But then again, they were having their moments, so is he actually going to help protect her and
I don't think he is.
understand?
I don't think he
But
is.
do you know this has always annoyed me about Ravi and him like forgiving Nish because he witnessed how he was with Suki
Oh
on
yeah,
Christmas Day last year.
yeah,
Maybe he will listen to Denise. I don't know. Otherwise, why? But why has she told him what's going to happen with this moving forward? I don't
exactly.
understand
This is
why
what I
they've
mean.
written this in.
I don't
Yeah.
understand why Denise thought that Ravi was the best person. I mean, I get it. She was sort of cornered in that situation because Ravi was literally
Mm,
sort of poking her and saying, "Tell me what's going on. Tell me. Tell me. I'm not leaving till you tell me what's happening here."
mm.
So she ended up just sort of telling him. But it's such a dumb move by Denise because I can't imagine what he's. I think generally, I think Ravi's one of the worst people she could have told about it.
However, she didn't explain everything. So the
No, she
only
didn't
bit
say
she
about
said
Linda or
was,
everything.
I hit Nish over the head, but we let him think it was Keanu.
Yeah.
So then he's still going to think that Nish killed Keanu,
Yeah, but
right?
how long for,
I
realistically?
don't know. I don't know. Is the anniversary just going to be everyone in the Vic talking about what actually happened on Christmas Day and all vowing to not go
Two
to the
years ago.
police or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what does Ravi now do with this information? Because as far as he's concerned, now, I mean, he doesn't think that Nish is necessarily innocent, like you say. But
No,
as far as
surely
he's
not.
concerned, Denise gave him like a really good reason to kill Keanu. So in Ravi's
Mm.
mind, Keanu was needlessly killed by Nish because of Denise's actions, right?
You would think, but I don't know. I feel like we're being like Denise and Ravi have got this connection that we're all supposed to be seeing, and that he's
Well,
going to end up being on her side and understanding it all.
yeah, it's gonna. I think this is going to be sort of the test of how over niche Ravi actually is. because I feel like this like the past couple of weeks where we've sort of had hints that Ravi and Denise might happen again has all been sort of leading up to this moment to sort of make it make sense that
Yeah.
Denise was sort of tell Ravi
Open up
what
to
exactly.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think that that might have been leading up to that moment, and so now it's the test of who is he going to side with more, Denise or this dad that he's constantly wanted to impress. And I mean, I kind of still feel that the best case scenario for Ravi at this point would be to hear his dad say, "I love you. I'm so proud of you to have you as my son," just on his deathbed and all that kind of thing. You know, I feel like that would be an aim that he might still go for.
Do you reckon? I think
I
Ravi
wouldn't be
might be over all
surprised.
that by
I
now.
hope so. Don't get me
I
wrong. I
think
definitely
Vinny would
hope
be
so.
more. I think Vinny
Oh
would be more
yeah,
bothered about getting that, to be honest, than Ravi.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, because I feel like the Ravi thing has been more sort of because Nish has always turned to Ravi at moments like this, hasn't he? And now, because we did mention it last week, but Nugget is very sort of been very reeled in. We did sort of kind of
Oh
theorize
yeah,
that that
yeah,
might be
yeah,
happening.
yes, yeah.
So is that going to sort of because is Ravi going to follow Nugget to see Nish, and then it's all going to sort of play out from there, or how do you reckon this is going to work?
I don't know because like Ivani mentioned something like, "Oh well, Nugget, you're not watching Nugget or something as much as me," and
Yeah,
oh, that was because he said, "Well, he's going to school." So Nugget's obviously been
yeah,
quite smart about going to see
yeah,
Nish, isn't he?
yeah.
I don't know how it's all going to go because obviously there's going to be some big happening with Nugget. It's going to be in that garage that we saw. I'm telling you now,
Yes.
that's why we saw that garage.
And I can tell you that garage was where and why Suki went in that garage, because that garage was where Denzel and Nugget used to do all their sort of workout stuff. Nugget does go in that
Was
garage
it?
quite a lot. Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was Jack's cellar that they did all that.
No, no, they went in one of those garages, and
Did they?
that's where they
Right,
filmed all their things. So it is a place that Nugget might go and hang out with Denzel. So that's why she
right.
went to that garage. Yeah, because I was completely clueless. Why is she banging on
Yeah,
random garages? Going Nugget,
yeah.
hello. She may as well walk around the living room and open the drawers and stuff. And go Nugget, are you in there? But
Hello, who's
no,
that?
there was a reason that she went
Right.
to that, so it does make
Okay.
sense. So it's interesting, I guess, to see
So
where.
this is going to be New Year's Day. So
Yes,
is Ravi somehow going to feel sympathy to Nish now that he knows that it was Denise who? Oh,
Willie,
I don't know. And
Willie,
do you
I
know
don't
what? I
know.
don't want him to.
No,
I think Ravi needs to be over Nish now. And if he forgives him again, I'm actually going to be a bit peeved
yeah,
because I don't think
yeah,
he would. I don't think he
no.
would forgive him again.
But Nish can't do whatever he's got planned on his own, I would presume. So he needs some sort
What
of
has he got
help.
planned?
I don't know what he's got planned, but he's got something horrible planned, doesn't he? So he's
Mm,
presumably not going to be able to do that on his own. So story wise, to make his plot happen, that he's going to have some sort of support, isn't he? And Suki's going to have to be
yeah.
portrayed somewhere along the line.
Or he's just going to trick Nugget and make him think he's doing something else, but actually he's going to do something horrendous to Suki and Eve, and that's where it's
Hmm.
all going to go wrong, isn't it?
Horribly, horribly wrong. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, Denise, you're an idiot. Why would you do this? Like you've
Yeah, why
just,
did you do that,
you
Denise?
why have you done this, Denise? You're a fool. You've screwed everything up. I don't care if you were in the middle of a panic
I love
attack.
that
This was foolish.
Kim like didn't understand why she was being so obsessed
I
about
know.
Spanish. Like no one's put any pieces together about like Christmas
No,
Day last year still, have they? At
no.
all.
That's because Kim wasn't busy making a crime podcast about it at the time. If she was, then this mystery would
Oh,
have been solved ages ago.
brilliant. Hey, do you think Kim is going to do a true crime podcast and figure out that Reese has got
Oh, I
Bianca
hope not.
locked up?
I hope not. I can't be asked. I hate it when Kim goes into this mode. I like Kim as like a comedy character in terms of like how she interacts with everybody, but this whole
Okay.
sort of social media influencer stuff really I don't find funny. It annoys me. I'm sorry. It
I
just
don't
doesn't.
mind it. I actually don't
Uh,
mind it that much. But I can see what you're saying, but I don't know. We're still not seeing Reese and Bianca though, have we
no, we saw
properly?
Reese briefly this week.
Yeah,
Bianca,
and he was carrying
God
a
only
bag.
knows what's happening to her at the moment. Yeah, God only knows. Reese said that
Oh,
he's going to be on
Bianca.
his own on Christmas, so we might see Reese and Bianca at Christmas. Like I can see Reese taking her a turkey sandwich or something.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah,
Or just
yeah,
a full like,
yeah,
M&S meal for one.
yeah,
Here you go, Bianca. You can't say I
yeah,
don't do anything. It's from M&S. Like
yeah.
it's a meal for one
What
from
more do you want?
M&S.
It's not just food; it's
Sauce.
M&S food. Thank you very
And there's
much. Yeah,
cranberry sauce. What more
yeah.
could
What
you
more do
want
you
on
want? Yeah,
Christmas
and a bit of
Day?
Christmas pudding there. Shut your whinging up. So there we are then. So final storyline of the week, ladies and gentlemen. The big storyline of the week, it turned out, was Cindy, and the truth is nearly out. So, final storyline of the week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited, Ree. I can't pretend I'm not. I love the way that this week ended. It was great. Elaine
Mhm.
knows. OM effing G.
That does
So
deserve an
excited.
effing in it. That
Effing
does
hell.
deserve an effing.
Ooh. Of
Wow.
all the people that I wanted to know first, I'm so glad it's Elaine because
Yes.
moi.
Ah. Do you know at first when she was sorry, slightly different, but when she was announcing that Linda's gone to rehab and she
Yeah.
went, so for now, we're expecting her to go,
Drinks are on the
drinks on
house.
the house. Ah.
Oh, do you not notice though? We got the most unenthusiastic drinks are on the house when Cindy came in having saved Lauren from the fire. Yeah, drinks. Yeah, drinks on the house. Yeah, whatever. You know, because it was
Oh,
Cindy.
I didn't pick up
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that. No.
yeah. Yeah, she did.
Fair.
Um,
Fair.
I mean, that last scene of the week,
Yes,
I
sorry, go on.
loved how many facial expressions Harriet managed to squeeze in to that last 30 seconds. It was
Yes.
great. Absolutely
Yes.
marvelous. Harriet Thorpe, that's her name. And then he said
Harriet
Harriet
Thorpe.
Jones, which is a character from
I
Doctor Who.
wondered what you were saying.
Character from
Oh,
Doctor Who, completely different person. Harriet Thorpe plays
yes.
Elaine, and I loved how many facial expressions she managed to squeeze into that final moment. It was great.
We were saying last week how she's good at saying a lot without saying
Yeah,
anything at all. Yeah,
love her,
she's quite
love
very
her.
good at that.
So this was quite a busy week for this storyline, to say the least. And it kind of starts really with Lauren, who obviously she last week poured all her drugs down the sink because she was having one of those moments where she was like, right, I don't
Yes.
need the drugs, that's fine, I'll just cope, everything will be fine.
Hmm.
And obviously by Monday, she's absolutely climbing the wall and wants the
Yeah.
drugs really, really badly. And Cindy's there, sort of taunting her and sort of saying, well, you know, you could have drugs, but no, you decided that you didn't want them, blah, blah, blah. Um, and so Lauren kind of tries to keep going, but ends up collapsing from pain and is taken to the
Yeah.
hospital. Was convinced that she'd lost the baby at this point, weren't you?
Same.
Yeah,
Yep.
convinced she'd lost the
Same.
baby.
Definitely. Yep.
Nothing wrong with the
Yep.
kid. There's nothing
Nothing
wrong with the
wrong.
baby whatsoever.
Even now,
What? Even now,
survived a
what's going?
fire.
Yeah, survived a fire and survived whatever drug she's been pumping inside of her. What is going on with her? Like, why is she? The implication, I think, was that because she had stopped taking these pills, that was then the result of her doing that, wasn't it? Why she ended up like keeled over in pain, had to be rushed to hospital.
Yes, that is what it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's the withdrawals. Yeah, it's the
yeah.
withdrawals. Yeah, yeah. That's why.
So
But you
she
would have
then
still
took,
thought that there would be something wrong with the baby
yeah,
because, well, like they say, you can't just stop taking
strong
medication like that if
painkillers.
you're
But then
addicted. Yeah.
the whole thing is like I'm assuming now that we're supposed to just think that these pills that she's been taking are what she thinks they are, but like they are like cocodamol or something, right?
Well, it was implied that it was morphine.
Oh no, because I thought she was talking about the morphine that she'd taken with Amy. I didn't know that these were pill morphine. I thought these were cocodamol again because she'd been necking them before, and then she ran out of them, and then I assumed that's why she wanted pills. I thought
But then they said that they were giving her methadone, and I was like, they wouldn't give you methadone as a
not
cocodamol
for cocodamol.
replacement.
No, no.
So
So
she must
maybe
have
it
been
is.
on
Yeah, must have
morphine
been on
pills or
morphine. Fair play.
something.
Fair enough then. So
Fair play.
fair
Yeah,
play.
yeah, fair play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair play
cracking
then. Fair
morphine.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
crack on,
well.
love. Um, so she goes to the hospital, and this is
Yeah.
when basically the rest of the family find out that Lauren's pregnant. And Cindy had just come, like they were all at the flat, and Cindy had just come around with a
Yes.
fresh batch of morphine that she'd got from the dealer and put it behind the toaster. Cindy's becoming a dab hand at this now, by the way. She could make a career at drug dealing quite
She'd be
happily.
a
She's like,
great drug
she
dealer,
would, wouldn't
wouldn't she,
she? She
Cindy?
would. She's like,
Yeah,
she sort of sits
she's good at
down.
it.
She could do all the texts that you get. Like I've got some sweets in. Got some sweets in. You know, all those subtle text messages that they apparently send.
We know she's good at sneaking around,
Yeah,
so
she'd be
yeah.
perfect. Yeah, hiding things, hiding evidence. She'd be perfect. She went straight to that toaster. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Yes.
So they then discover that Lauren's pregnant because Peter has like put a scan picture up on the tree, and then it's all sort of that's a nice family moment. I think is what Peter was planning at that
Yeah.
moment, which in normal circumstances it probably would have been a nice way for Ian to
Yeah.
discover he's about to become a granddad again, and a nice way for Cindy to discover it would have been a lovely family moment.
I thought it
However,
was an error. I thought he just left it on the tree. I didn't realise it was intentional.
well, I mean, he put it on there, and then they came round, so I assumed that he thought
And
they
then
were going to
thought,
see it. Yeah, and
oh,
then thought,
okay,
well,
fair
screw it. Why
enough.
don't you just find out now? Yeah. But
Right.
Cindy, at that moment, takes the pills and he goes, well, you're not having these to be pregnant. What are you doing? And now you need to tell Peter exactly what's going on. She suddenly has the moral high ground, like higher than the balcony
Yeah.
that Kojo fell from. Again, Lauren completely on the back foot because the whole point of this was that she had blackmail on Cindy, and Cindy's managed to turn this
Yeah.
completely on Lauren at this point, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely. But then I think Lauren later then tries to explain to Cindy. So Cindy takes them off her, doesn't she, from the
Yeah,
toaster?
yeah,
And they meet again in the pub where Lauren's trying to explain,
yeah.
yes, I know I'm pregnant, but even the doctor or the midwife at the hospital
Actual
said, you
doctor has
can't
said
just come
this.
off them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cindy just kind of takes a word as well on that. Like, I'd be like, at least Googling it and
Yeah.
being like, are you
Can
sure,
I
Lauren?
have a
Like,
doctor's note before our
yeah.
transactions continue here, please?
Yeah.
It's the first
But
thing I think I'd
she
ask.
don't require that though, does she, Cindy? So she hands them back
No,
over
she's
to
like, oh yeah,
Lauren.
fair. Off you go then. Let's
Yeah.
crack on.
And because I was like, how would Lauren know what dosage to take anyway? Like, does she take half of one at a time?
I
How does
mean, I
that
don't think
even
she does. I
work?
think she's literally just been necking them as and when she wants them, isn't it? Which again,
Yeah.
with something like morphine, is bloody dangerous. Which I can't believe this baby's getting out of it scot free. I don't wish it on her, obviously, but she's been lucky.
Maybe they're like, you can't see everything, can you, on a scan? So maybe there
Could be
might be some
problems later down the line.
like brain development that they can't see or
Maybe,
something. Maybe they might have like difficulties when they're born. I don't know.
maybe.
Something that they can't physically see on a scan could quite
Mm,
easily happen when she gives birth. Because it
well, we shall
looks
have.
like she's gonna give birth, because I would have thought that she
Yeah,
would have miscarried by now if it was gonna
this is the
happen. Like
thing.
if that's where the writers were going with it, you
Yeah,
would have thought
it
this
would have
week
happened
it would
by
have
now.
probably
Yeah.
happened.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Before the Cindy reveal happens, just to add
Yeah.
that extra bomb on top of
Yeah.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And this all from here went in directions I wasn't expecting it to. Because
Right.
Lauren's got the pills now, so she goes home. It's just her and Louis in the flat. Peter's around talking to Ian, and Cindy's just sort of fuming about the whole situation. And
Probably shagging Junior.
probably Shaggy Jr. And Lauren sets Louis in front of like the iPad or something, and then goes into the bedroom, lights a candle, and falls asleep, and then knocks the candle over, and the flat is all of a sudden ablaze or full of smoke.
This flat that we've only just seen this
Well,
week as
this is
well.
Penny's flat. This is Penny's flat because I was wondering where this flat come from, and then realised they've clearly just moved in with Penny because Penny made a
Yeah, that
comment
is
saying, "Oh, I need to find somewhere else to live now." Then, um,
yeah,
but yeah, somewhere on the line, I think I'd forgotten when they'd actually done this move, but they've
yeah,
all been living with Penny.
yeah.
So the flat's ablaze, and Cindy is the one that ends up saving Louis and Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of my favourite parts of the week was a little bit later on in the episode when the Vic is applauding them, and Cindy is literally walking through the Vic going, "Oh, stop! Oh, yeah,
Guys, come on,
guys,
yeah.
really, I know. Come on, anyone would have done it. Come on.
I'll have a prosecco if you
Oh, go
insist.
on
Go on
then.
then.
Go. Oh,
Yeah, and a
stop the
shooter to
applause.
wash it down, of course.
Oh, please, guys,
I do
embarrassing
love
me.
Cindy, even though she's horrendous.
um, so
That's Cindy.
It's is Cindy. So Lauren is basically kind of like she needs to get one over on Cindy, and then realizes the only path to this is Kojo,
Yes.
who has sort of closed up a little bit since he's been back. Isn't really talking to George.
Poor
Poor
Kojo.
Kojo. By the way, I'm not convinced that Kojo is going to make it out of Christmas. I've got it into my head that
Whoa.
I've got it into my head that someone's dying at Christmas because of that little shovel thing that's in the picture, and I feel like,
No.
yeah, I feel
No,
like
I
this
think that's just Cindy, she's going to keep
digging,
digging and
keep
digging,
digging,
maybe.
maybe, but.
Because she's just going to deny everything, I think.
Mm,
As we've seen with when Lauren's like come clean, which like well done, Lauren, finally for just being like, I was nearly
well,
killed like my child and my unborn child.
yeah, but this is the thing. Like you say, when they go to the hospital, this all then comes out because
Yeah.
Lauren decides to be honest about the
Yeah.
drugs that she's been taking, and then goes, "Oh, by the way, she was the one that gave them to me." And then reveals everything that like she knew about, like, something went on with Kojo, and Peter and Ian are like, what, and Cindy's literally sat there fuming and literally regretting the moment that she decided to save Lauren's life. I
Yeah.
guarantee that gets thrown back in her face at some point, by the way, as well. I should have let you burn, something like
Yeah.
that. I was surprised that this all came out when it did. Like, I was expecting all of this to kick off next week. I wasn't expecting it this week.
Same. So that gives Lauren even more ammunition to be the one who does release the recording as well,
Well,
if she
how
does
does
get
she
her hands on it.
is Elaine and Lauren are Elaine and Lauren going to team up then? Because Freddie and Anna are busy burning
Yes.
CDs. When was the last time you burnt a CD, Ree?
God, yeah, that's so true. I'm surprised they even know how to do it. Are they not too young to know
I was
that
going to
CD burning's a
CDs.
thing?
Do they even still sell CDs? Is that a thing?
That is
Like, is
so
that
true. I
can you
didn't
still
even
go to
think of
can you
that.
still go to the shop and buy a CD? Is that a thing? So can you still do that?
Yes.
So I think you
Well,
can. Yeah,
you get DVDs, so
that's
yeah.
true. Yeah. I mean, disc form is slowly being phased out. Put it like that. So they're sat there burning these uh, discs with all this bird song, and I think Freddie's genuinely thinking I could make millions from this. So they're busy burning the CDs, and then obviously they
Yeah.
bugger off downstairs somewhere to drink prosecco while Cindy's being hailed the hero. And Elaine hears the recording of Cindy confessing not only that she still loves George, but that she sleeps with Junior as a replacement for George. And I was delighted by this turn of events. What
My
the
God.
hell is she going to do?
Elaine.
Yeah. What's she
Hmm.
going to do? How is she going to do about this? Because she has the power in her hands now to completely destroy Cindy. She can destroy her. The girls won't be interested. She can just like George is safe. Everything she's got everything that she wants out of this. However, what she's also going to risk doing is destroying George's and Junior's relationship. And does she want to do that?
Well, that's not her who's going to destroy it. It's Junior from his actions. She's got to tell her husband
Yeah.
what his son's been doing at the end of the day. But now I think you could have a point that her and Lauren might join forces because they all. So when Lauren obviously outed Cindy for what had happened, and this is why I'm saying Cindy's digging and digging and digging because she's like, no, I didn't. Just lie, 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 lie. Is Elaine gonna go, hang on, they came round and started quizzing Kerja. Is this what he found out? She's gonna put all those pieces together. She's gonna talk to Lauren and say, I believe you, Lauren. And then this is the whole thing on Christmas Day.
Yeah. And then Lauren's going to be like, "Oh, you've got incriminating evidence. Oh, I know exactly
Well,
what to do
hang
with
on.
that."
Did you say
Did
you
you
got a
say? Did you
recording?
say a recording?
This is a
Oh,
recording.
this is Christmas.
Leave it to me, Elaine.
Oh,
This is my speciality,
I'm
Elaine.
all over this. Don't you worry about. Leave it to me. We'll sort this out. We'll make sure it's the most cataclysmic Christmas you've seen yet. Don't you worry about that. I mean, yeah, I can sort of because
Yeah.
at this point, given the trailer and that we know this is on a memory stick that's been labeled with quite a passive aggressive message on it going, play this for a festive Christmas. You're
Yeah.
all gonna love this. I don't know if Elaine would do that necessarily.
No, I don't think it's late. It's got to be Lauren with the recording. She's
So
got all
they
this
reckon,
ammunition now. Maybe that's why this has come out this week for Lauren to have
yeah.
enough.
And
Yeah.
she will presumably go to Lauren and go, oh, so it turns out that I believe you now and that you weren't lying. And so
Yeah.
this is what I've got. Let's plan what we're going to do here. That's got to be the way forward from here, surely. Because at the end of the week, Lauren's basically like everyone's said, "You're a liar, get out," and she's gone to
But
live with Jack for a bit.
I don't think Elaine would be like, oh, let's make this big Christmas reveal type thing. I just think that she's maybe going to speak to Lauren, and Lauren's going to come across the recording, like you said, like she's going to go, "There's a recording out there. Can I maybe have a
Can I
copy
borrow
of that?"
that? Can I borrow that? I won't do anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of, but I just love that Elaine was the one that knew because of even whatever she tends to do, whatever she does with it at this moment, it was just that moment of satisfaction that Elaine knows and that she's got this over Cindy. And what I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to is just that first scene where she goes to Cindy with what she now knows. That's
Hmm.
going to be really, really fun. I can't wait for that.
I can't either. Maybe the next thing we'll see is her going downstairs and seeing Cindy getting patted on the back, and Elaine's going to be like, "Oh,
Uh,
I know.
oh, I
Oh,
know.
I know,
Yeah.
Cindy."
Oh, there's somebody who
Yeah,
hasn't patted you on the back. Junior's over there. Why don't you go and ask him,
yeah.
Cindy? Go on, go on.
Maybe
Hmm.
that is what she'd do. I'd love some little passive aggressive
I think
snipes
that's
from
what.
Elaine, getting
Yeah,
her
I think that's what
paranoid
she'll. Yeah, yeah,
first.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd
She's
be
gonna.
cool.
Well, I don't think she'll know quite what she wants to do with the information yet, but she's
Yeah,
going to have fun until she works out what to properly do with
mm,
it for sure. Because you would, right?
definitely.
That's exactly what
Yeah,
you'd do. You would go to
yeah,
town on it. Yeah,
yeah. 100%. Especially after what Cindy's been like with Elaine.
yeah, absolutely. And it's the fact that she, like, because also what she'll know is that this is the reason that Kojo has been so closed up.
Yeah,
So she'll have worked
yeah.
all of this out as well. So she's gonna have somewhere is gonna be this massive revenge plan on Cindy, and then it's all gonna go cataclysmically wrong. I'm very excited for Christmas, Ree. I can't
And a
lie to you.
turkey's gonna get thrown, so
Turkey,
that's it.
flying poultry, right at Cindy's head. It's gonna be great. Can't wait. Bring it on. Gold star with tweet, Ree.
Lauren for me this week, I think. After coming clean about
Yeah.
everything and finally telling everyone the truth. Yeah,
Fair
Lauren.
play. I think Linda. for me. I think
Yeah, fair.
We'll give Linda that last gold star of the year that she deserves, because I don't think we're
Yeah,
going to see Linda for a little while now. And Monday's episode was very, very good,
yeah.
and Kelly Wright's amazing, and she deserves a break. So I hope she enjoys it. Let us know who your gold star is going to, ladies and gentlemen. And as usual, we will finish the podcast with some comments from you.
So we've got a comment from Marion who says, good stuff. This is about Thursday's episode. Good stuff, but seriously, Ian's not buying this, is he? In the hospital, it looked like he thought Cindy was at it. Would be an elaborate and weird lie for Lauren to dream up.
Yeah, I mean, this all kind of boils down to how, but then Cindy manages to manipulate Ian again by the end of the week anyway, doesn't she? Because she's like, all you got to do is trust me, Ian. Anything I say, just trust me. It's like,
I think he'd probably be happily in denial seeing how everyone's, applauding Cindy as this hero in the
yeah,
community now.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And for communities, what Ian's all about, like, oh, look how good we look now. My
Yeah.
missus has saved two people from a fire.
Yeah.
Marvelous. That'll bring us business. What do you reckon Ian's reaction is going to be when he finds out the truth? Like, do you reckon he's going? I mean, we did theorize that he would just have another arse attack, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah, I forgot about that. Forgot about all of that. Possibly, but a part of me does think like that he's still a bit sus and not fully bought it, if I'm
Mm,
honest, because he
I
does know
don't think he's.
Cindy.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be like overly shocked by it, but I think he's going to
Yeah.
be more heartbroken. It's going to be interesting to sort of see. I mean, I think it's going to be expected from Cindy by a lot of people. It's the junior
Mm.
element of it, and the fact that it's junior that she's had the
Yeah,
affair with
to
that I
be,
think's really
yeah.
going to cause the aggro.
And in fairness to everyone else who's an outsider, this theory of Lauren's just does seem out there because it's like, why would Cindy want to hurt Kerjo, and
Yeah,
what could he possibly
yeah.
hurt?
Why lie
Like,
about that? It's the
yeah,
I love the fact that Cindy said, "Oh, it's the drugs she's taking." So morphine makes you talk absolute like
yeah,
like imaginative garbage at any point. It's going to be interesting to sort of see how it plays out. I can't wait for this confrontation. Though
I
it's got
know.
all the ingredients like your classic EastEnders Christmas, hasn't it? From all
Definitely.
like sort of the madness of the six last year, this one feels like it's going to be kind of almost a lot more grounded, and it's just going to
Yeah.
be like the emotions and the anger and the flying poultry. That's all. That's what it's going to be about. It's going to be
Fingers crossed.
marvelous. Amy Louise Whitewolf has said Kelly Bright's acting is amazing. Fabulous way of portraying consequences. It's a bit like Christmas Carol slash Scrooge. What will happen if she doesn't change her ways? Harry Farr, aka Ollie Carter, is a fabulous actor. Them not having many people at the funeral shows that Linda knows her addiction has caused her to burn so many bridges. When Nancy hit Elaine, it was like they used a doll to hit the bed. Oh no, sorry. When Linda hit Elaine, it was like they used a doll to hit the bed. In all seriousness,
Oh
I hope
yeah.
it does make people aware of the effects of binge drinking and alcoholism. To be fair, what I saw a lot of online from Monday's episode was a lot of people saying I recognize this in my own life, like people relating to the alcoholism aspect, like relatives they've experienced who have been through Linda's storyline, sort of like the childlike personality that she had towards the end of it all as well.
Yeah.
That felt quite real to a lot of people as well. So I think that I know to some people it's gone on a bit too long and it's sort of been quite exhausting to watch, but I think that's what this is. That is
But that is
alcoholism.
the reality, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's what families they must feel like that. My God. So yeah, us viewing it for an extra couple of months is nothing
mm,
compared to the
yeah,
reality of what
yeah,
families have to go through when it's honestly opened my eyes, actually. I
yeah.
genuinely feel like I've learned something very
It's
valuable while watching
yeah,
it.
it's been like because a lot of times when soaps do this sort of thing, you kind of get almost sort of lip service as to what the other people in the family are going through. Whereas this storyline that's actually really focused on the effect that it has on people around her as well, which is quite interesting. Like the Ollie aspect, the fact that Ollie just sees this as normal. Like if you
Mm.
imagine the life that that poor little kid has had up to now, like
It's
lost his dad,
heartbreaking.
and now Linda's a raging
Mm,
alcoholic that scares him. Like it's going to be interesting to sort of see how Linda and Ollie reconnect when Linda returns from rehab, and sort of see
yeah.
will she be able to sort of reestablish that connection with him.
Yeah. Will he always have that little fear
Yeah,
of his own mum now because of
yeah.
everything that's happened?
And will he
Oh,
always fear
bless him.
Father Christmas?
Possibly.
Possibly, possibly.
Possibly. I've got a comment here from Louise Clare who says, brought a tear or two to my eyes. Was anybody else surprised that the dream sequence started with the bottle of vodka outside the Vic? I genuinely thought everything leading up to her collapsing on the bench was real. Same as
Mm,
me, Louise.
mm.
Great to see Lee and Nancy, although I would have loved to see them back in the square properly. Any clumsiness with the storyline could surely be attributed to Linda's state of mind, i.e., police visit, quiet funeral. It didn't need to be realistic. Interesting choice of words from the police. We think she's dead.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
I
like
mean, the whole,
redemption.
yeah, I agree in the fact that, yeah, yes, everything building up to Linda's, throwing up and sort of passing out on the bench was, I think, supposed to make us think that this was really happening. So I get
Yeah,
that completely. But I think because I knew that this wasn't a real thing that was happening, I was just sort of like, I'm more intrigued to sort of see the aftermath and sort of the what if
yeah,
elements from it. But it was a really, really strong episode. And I love it when the show takes these sorts of risks and takes these and goes abstract like this, but keeps it rooted in what the show actually is, and it's been good at doing that. Like the Mitchell flashback and all the and the
yeah,
two-handers they've done. They've sort of done a few little things here and there across this era that have gone outside what we'd normally expect, thinking outside the box a little bit, but kept it very rooted in what the show actually is. So it was, and this was another example of that, I think. So yeah, it was good stuff. So that's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. The next time we see you, we'll have done Christmas. We'll all be 6 stone heavier on turkey, pigs in blankets, and vegan options as well are always available. And sherry and booze. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, we hope you enjoy your holiday season as well. Let us know what you're doing over Christmas, and if you'd like to get in touch with us in any way, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a gingerbread latte or a once-a-year espresso martini, you can go on
Once a year.
buymeacoffee.com. Well, for me,
Yeah.
buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Yes, indeed, you can. We'll see you same time next week. I think the scheduling allows us to just be doing the normal thing that we do every week. So we'll be back same time next
Yeah.
Saturday, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, next Saturday we
Yeah.
decided that, yeah.
Yes.
And
And what a
Merry Christmas and Happy
Merry
Holidays to
Christmas.
everybody.
Ho, ho, ho. So until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
Bye.